Okay, students, this is the third part of the video of chapter number 1, Heritage of India. And further we'll discuss very fast India, land and people. Let's get on with it. Primitive men came into existence simultaneously in India and eastern South Africa. Mesmerized by varied and prosperous heritage, many foreign tribes came to India. Primitive man means the old age man, the ancient man, which existed simultaneously means on both the parts on an same period of time in India as well as in eastern South Africa. So, mesmerized by varied and prosperous heritage, many foreign tribes came to India. Consequently, the remains of all tribes are found here. So, all the tribes which came to India have some or the other remains. Remains means some part of them from which they can be identified are found here. The Dravidians were considered to be the most ancient people of India, but the modern researcher of linguistic and anthropology, these are two types of sciences, linguistic and anthropology. Anthropology is the science of earth, have proved that even before the Dravidians, 6 more tribes came and settled in India. So before Dravidians are considered ancient, right? But modern researchers told us that before the Dravidian, 6 more tribes came in and settled in India. Let's see further which are the tribes and what characteristics they have, from where did they come. Negritoid Hapsi people. Some historians believe that Negrate or Negroes are the most ancient inhabitants of India. Some historians believe, right? All the historians don't believe that Negroes or Negritoid were the ancient people, but some historians believe. So Hapsi people were the most ancient inhabitants of India. They came from Africa via Balochistan to India. They were black, having height of 4 to 5 feet and curly hair. So they had curly hair, they had height of 4 to 5 feet. They were technically short from today's generation. They were short, 4 to 5 feet, and they were black. So these are Hapsi people. The second is Australoid Nishad people. People of this tribe came from Southeast Asia. Now Southeast Asia is today's part of Australia, right? So the name Australoid matches with Australia. The people who came from Southeast Asia are known as Australoid, Nishad people. They are also known as Nishad. Negritoid is also known as Hapsi. Australoid is also known as Nishad. Their physical features, let us see: black skin with broad head. So there was a broad and big head with black skin, as well as flat nose. The nose was flat. Short in height. They were also short in height, etc. The Aryans used to call them Nishad. The Aryans who came later called Australoids Nishad. The origins of the tribes like Kol, Munda, Khasi, tribes of Assam, the tribes of Nicobar and Myanmar have similarities to the Australoids. Now, the Australoid tribes remains, or the Australoid origins can be found in Kol, Munda and Khasi tribes. Remember the 3 names of Australoid tribes: Kol, Munda and Khasi. They are the tribes of Assam, Nicobar and Myanmar. Assam, Nicobar and Myanmar. They have similarities to the Australoids. Their contribution in the development of Indian culture and civilization is immense. So they have so much contributed into our culture and our civilization. They made clay utensils. Remember that. They made clay utensils. Now they taught us how to make clay utensils, wore cotton cloth and knew many other skills. They had great religious beliefs too. They were also having great religious beliefs. Now we are talking about religious beliefs here, so let me underline it for you. Religious beliefs, some important points are that they made clay utensils. It is also important, wore cotton cloth and had great religious beliefs too. Okay, now let's move on further with the Dravidians. Originally Dravidians belonged to India. Now Dravidians are also the ancient people which are considered by some of the historians that they are originally Indians. Originally Dravidians belonged to India. They were the direct descendants of the Stone Age civilization. Descendants means they were the successors, generation of Stone Age civilization and the creator of Mohenjo-daro culture. Remember that. The Dravidians were the creator of Mohenjo-daro culture. They came from the north and survived with their language and cultural features, and they were only called as Dravidians. They were only known as Dravidians. Dravidians gave the concept of mother as a goddess and father as a god. They gave the concept to us that mother is considered to be goddess and father is considered to be god. And then the thought of Parvati and Shiva. You know Parvati and Shiva as mother and father developed. The concept of mother as Parvati and father as Shiva. The concept developed through the Dravidians. The tradition of worshipping nature is the gift of the Dravidians. We worship nature. We do, yes. So that was the gift of the Dravidians. The tradition of worshipping with dhoop, incense stick. We do incense stick, right? Deep, lamp. Lamp means diya, and arti. We do all the procedure of arti, right? So these all the things are the gifts of the Dravidians. Okay, originally deities of Dravidians have been accepted by Aryans. Deities means the gods. Deities means gods. The gods of the Dravidians were accepted by the Aryans and were re-established by them as god of culture. God of culture. That means the god would denote culture. They would show us our culture. Okay, let's move on further. Under the tremendous influence of North, Aryan culture was deeply internalized by the Dravidians. Now, the culture of Aryans and Dravidians were mixed. It was so much influence of the North that Aryan culture was deeply internalized by the Dravidians. They took the Aryan culture and accepted it. Hence, intercaste marriages took place. So Dravidians and Aryans made intercaste marriages. Dravidians had matriarchal system of family. We today also follow matriarchal system of family, where the bride goes to the home of the bridegroom. Dravidians progressed a lot in different crafts and arts like building of boat and raft. They knew how to build a boat and raft. They knew how to weave clothes, how to spin cloth, how to dye the cloth, etc. After the Aryans came, Dravidians shifted to South India because Aryans were dominant. Dominant means they were powerful, they were superior. And thus they shifted to South India and settled there. As a result, today we can see such family like Dravidian family who are speaking Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam. So remember these main points that they speak Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam. Intercaste marriages took place. Dravidians had matriarchal system. They knew how to build a boat and raft, weaving, spinning, dyeing, etc. And due to the dominance of the Aryans, they shifted to South India. Now they live in South India. Okay, other tribes. First, we'll discuss Mongoloid. Mongoloid, they came from North China via Tibet. North China via Tibet and settled down in North Assam, Sikkim, Bhutan, West Bengal, etc. So it's all in the northeast side as well as east side, West Bengal. So they settled down in North Assam, Sikkim, Bhutan, West Bengal. Further, they gradually Indianized themselves. They changed according to the whatever adjustment they had to do, they had done and they had Indianized themselves. Indianized means they have become now Indians. Mongoloid people have physical characteristics like yellow complexion. They would have yellow skin, flat face. It was a flat face, chubby cheeks, good chubby cheeks, big cheeks, and almond shaped eyes. We even see almond shaped eyes in the Chinese people. They had yellow complexion and thus they were known as Kirat. Kirat. Remember a small name, Kirat. Mongoloid were known as Kirat. Nishad, who were Nishad? Australoids. Remember that. Let's move further. Alpine, Dinaric and Armonite. These three tribes have similar characteristics. These people migrated from Central Asia. They came from Central Asia like Arab Emirates, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, all that areas, Armenia and all those areas. These types of similarities, these genes are still found in Gujarat, Saurashtra, Maharashtra, Bengal and Odisha. Remember that. Okay, Alpine, Dinaric and Armonite, they are found, or their genes are found in Gujarat, Saurashtra, Maharashtra, Bengal, and Odisha. Okay, let's move on to the some of the main tribes in India. The second one is Aryans. The first one was Dravidians, and the second one is Aryans. Aryans are a superior tribe. They were also known as Nordic Aryans. It is a very important question, 1 mark, 10th standard board exam. The Nordic Aryans, the Aryans were also known as Nordic Aryans, were the creators of Aryan civilization. Aryavart, they used to call their area Aryavart. We hear this word so many times in the Mahabharata as well as Ramayana. All the Aryans, all the Hindus, they were all the Hindus. Okay, in the ancient time, in the area was densely populated, was called Aryavrat. 7 rivers were flowing there. In the Aryavrat, there were 7 rivers. So it was also named as Saptasindhu. Now, the first name for the area of the Aryan civilization is Aryavart. The second is Saptasindhu. In ancient time, the Aryan people used to live in the northwest. Northwest means the area of Pakistan and Punjab. The area of Aryavart was extended up to Bihar in the east. It was extended up to the Bihar. And in the south, it spread up to the Vindhyachal during the post-Vedic period. So, at the time of Mahabharata, it was already extended up to Vindhyachal as well as Bihar, Mithila. They were more advanced people, and they used to call their land as Bharat Bhumi, Bharat Khand, Bharatvarsh. Now there are 5 names. Listen to me very carefully. There are 5 names here. I am going to underline it very clearly. Aryavrat, Saptasindhu, Bharat Bhumi, Bharat Khand, and Bharatvarsh. So these are the 5 names by which the Aryans used to call their land. Remember these 5 names, it is very much important. It is our history, right? Our India was earlier in ancient times known as Aryavrat, Saptasindhu, Bharat Bhumi. Bharatvarsh is still, it is known as Bharatvarsh, Bharat Bhumi, Bharat Khand, it is still known as. And it was because of the name of the king Arya Bharat. Arya and Bharat. So from the Bharat, the 3 names Bharat Bhumi, Bharat Khand, Bharatvarsh, and from the Arya, Aryavarta. Okay, it was Bharatkul tribe. Bharatkul tribe. It was very ancient Brahmin tribe or very ancient Hindu tribe. Yes. Aryans were nature lovers. They loved and worshipped the trees, the rivers, the mountains, the sun. They were also nature lovers. Dravidians were also nature lovers. They had composed hymns. Hymns are used to pray to the natural elements like the Himalayas, like the mountains, rivers, sun, wind, rain. They used to pray and say something like hymns. Hymns means a poem like. In due course of time, some religious ceremonies like recitation of Vedas, performing yajna and other activities became prevalent in India. And slowly and steadily, these religious ceremonies, Vedas, all the 4 Vedas were accepted by the people. Yajna were performed, so many yajnas, there are so many types of yajnas, and these all the activities became prevalent. Prevalent means became famous in India. In today's date also, there are so many yajnas going on, so many Vedas are recited in so many temples. Okay, let's move on further. There was a fine amalgamation of those tribes with their specific style of living, and harmonious culture was formed. Now, this paragraph shows us that there was a mixture of all the tribes which came here and resided here. India's glorious and prosperous heritage was the gift of these tribes. Okay, these foreigner and Indian tribes amalgamated in such a way over a long period of time that they lost their individual identity. That means they mixed themselves together, and the culture was such mixed that it became the culture of India, and thus India has a glorious heritage. Okay, our people as well as outsiders were greatly influenced by the languages, script, names and religious beliefs. Now we all know the languages. There are so many thousands of languages and dialects in India right now. India is also famous for this diverse atmosphere or diverse culture, right? We have diverse heritage, and all the people in the world are influenced with these things like languages, script, Vedas and all that, names, different names as religious beliefs. They played a vital role in Indianizing these foreigners. They came here and they Indianized themselves. A composite clear culture is formed in India. Okay, then they all become Indians. In short, ancient India is the amalgamation of various cultures, enriched Indian culture by making it variegated and prosperous. So, our ancient India, in ancient India, the various cultures and their mixture has enriched Indian culture, has plussed Indian culture by making it a variety and prosperous, rich. Let's move on further with the preservation, conservation. 2 points are the most important here. First point is that India attained a leading position in the world by keeping its rich heritage protected and preserved. It is very much important point, and in the preservation and conservation of heritage question, you have to write this point. Also write this point that in our constitution, the fundamental duties of Indian citizens are mentioned in Article 51A. In that 6, 7 and 9 describes this thing. What they describe, let us see. The first point, to understand the importance समझना, हमारा जो culture है उसका importance समझना, to maintain the prosperity and to preserve it. Prosperity जो है हमारा जो culture है उसको preserve करना है, हमको बचा के रखना है. The second point is maintain the forest, tanks, rivers, ponds and the wild animals and birds along with maintaining the natural environment and to show compassion for all the living creatures. Whatever living creatures are there are different species, there are diversified species in India right now. There are more than 15,000 different species of animals only. So forests, tanks, rivers, ponds and wild animals need to be taken care of with the natural environment, which we take care of obviously, to show compassion for all the living creatures. Okay, third point, the protection of public property and giving up violence are also included in it. We need to protect the public property and we have to give up violence. That is the best example of giving up violence is you know that Mahatma person, right? You know Mahatma Gandhi. He gave up violence and freed India. Okay, let's move further. Nature has created beautiful landscapes. Obviously, nature has only created those beautiful landscapes, but we need to maintain the purity. It should be pure. We need to maintain it. Purity, sanctity means it is as it is. We need to maintain as it is. And beauty of this place is considering it to be our moral duty. It is our moral duty to do all these things. The Indian heritage is an outcome of the development of people of India over a long period of time. So our heritage, how do we achieve our heritage? Because of our forefathers, because of our culture, we attain our heritage. Now, the development of the people of India made our heritage rich and prosperous. Nature has also given us so much and in so much abundance that India is prosperous in natural resources as well as cultural resources. India achieved these opportunities in the fields of gradual development because of this natural structure where Himalayas in the north and sea in the three directions of India. So in this way, the Indian heritage is the result of the development of the people of India in the social, economic, political and cultural fields over centuries. So the reason behind the development of the people of India is the social, economical, political and cultural fields is the result of the Indian heritage. Students, you can pause this video. In the homework there will be all these questions. In the you see the exercise. Question number 1, give details of the Aryan Dravidian race, explain the meaning of culture and give its details. Cultural heritage of Gujarat, explain in detail. Answer the following questions point wise. 1, 2, 3. Answer the following question in short. All these question answers you have to write in your homework. You need to submit your homework when the school gets on. Also you need to submit your homework in the next 2 days, where you have to WhatsApp your homework to the school staff, and further we will check the homework. So students, the chapter has been over here. Let us see the small MCQs. The word Lokmata is used for Bharat, nature, rivers, Panihari, rivers. Find out the correct match. Sharda Peeth, Somnath, North Dance Festival, Modera, Polo Festival, Vatnagar, Siri Sayed Grill, Bhavnagar. I leave this MCQ to you. You find it from the fair and find the right answer. Which language does not belong to Dravid language group? Hindi, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam. It is very much easy. You all know that answer. I don't want to tell. Okay, I take your leave, students, and we'll come with a new chapter, a new video in very soon. Thank you, students, for listening, and thank you for giving your time. I wish that you are safe, and let's meet very soon. Okay.